Hi cats and kittens, and welcome to another episode of Feline Opinion. Today we're talking about book and film comparison. We're going with the Black Cauldron. More specifically, the Chronicles of Prydain. They were written by Lloyd Alexander, the first one coming out in 1964, the last one coming out in 1968. There was 5 books, they came out in consecutive years, and they're just so cool. But how is the film different? Let's get into it. First off, The Black Cauldron is actually the second book in the series. The first book is called The Book of Free, and let me tell you, the Horned King is in this book for about 2 paragraphs. Like, the film is like, he's the greatest evil, it's hit all of Prydain. And the book's like, well, he's a mild annoyance at best, although a Horned King. Can we get a look at this front cover? More like the Horny King with those abs. So we'll take a look at the Book of Free first, and we'll go in order of like the books and then compare them to the films, but we'll start with the characters first. So first off, we have our young hero Taran. He's pretty consistent actually. Taran is a very consistent character within the book and the film, like in the sense of, he's a pig keeper, but also he's like very sick of this life and he dreams of adventure and the big world. But also in the books, he is so stupid at the beginning, like Captain Himbo right at the start. This is a bit like the first quest, he meets a prince, like Prince Gwydion. I know it's like a weird way to say it. It's not Gideon, I swear. It's all the names and all the inspiration for these books is Welsh. And he meets him, and like the first thing he does is nearly drown himself and the prince's horse when he's like, yeah, we'll cross this river. And Taran's like, yeah, we'll cross this river. And afterwards the prince is like, the hell, why didn't you tell me you can't swim, you absolute moron? He's like, I don't know, honestly, I thought I'd learn halfway across. I thought it would come easily to me. He's like, you almost drowned my horse, forget yourself. And he's like, yeah, I really thought you just sort of splashed your arms around. Didn't work out though, did it? But like, again, since the film is only covering a small portion of what the books have, you never get to see Taran mature into like who he becomes. And he becomes like very thoughtful and very responsible character. And it also becomes like a big point of his growth that he learns that, you know, craving adventure is essentially the same as craving disaster and death. Because the only reason to go on an adventure is out of like great necessity in dark times. And so like when he comes back, he is changed. He is like very different. Because like the whole of the book series takes place over a couple of years. So he's like 14 in the first one, I believe, somewhere around that age. And like by the end one, he's like 17 or 18, around there about. And he's just not the same person that he was. Next we get to the lovely Princess Eilonwy, very fiery, very funny. Yep, they kept again the essence of her character in the film, but she's not as faithful as Taran's character was. So Eilonwy is so witty in both variations. She's like so sharp and so ready to fight back with an insult. But in the books, she is not only a princess, but a sorceress, or she's from a line of sorcerers. But the thing is, the sorcerers in these worlds, in the Chronicles of Prydain, if you don't keep practicing it in magic, you lose it. It's a very use it or lose it skill. You do not get it back. It's just gone. And the thing is, she's like, well, I have magic, and I could learn spells, but do you know how much work it is? It's so boring. You try reading this dead language, pig boy. And it's just like, she uses her powers like once, and it like only half works because she's so half-assed at studying. And then she's like, well, I never want to do that again. Like, it was so much effort. And they're like, but look how useful it was. And she's like, yeah, but I can pretty much just like not do that and live a happier life. So she's like just such a great character to have. Next we have Gurgi, a very, very cute character in the Disney animation. Like, he's so adorable. His little munchings and crunchings. In the film, in the book, he really loves his munchings and crunchings on your bones. He'll kill you. He'll kill you for, like, an apple core. It's not even like oh, no, yeah, that was mine. He's like, oh, did you just eat my food? Time to throw hands, fucker, we're going down. He's like, he's not cute, he's not small. He's sort of this paradoxical creature, the only one of his kind. He is essentially what is the missing link. He's somewhere between beast and man. Like, he's neither an animal, like, he has more intelligence than that, but he can't walk along the world of men because he's not there yet. And so he's this very lonely creature. But the first time he meets Taran, we get him described as, like, a creature with, like, gangly limbs and, like, you know, a massive strength and speed. And the first thing he tries to do is choke Taran out so he can eat him. And like, literally, Tara is saved by the prince. And Gurgi, at fear of being executed, is like, well, I guess I serve you now. And they're like, the hell no, we're just gonna kill you. And he's like, no, buddy, I'm very fast and very strong. And they're like, oh, shit, he is very fast and very strong. He's like, you also have to feed me. Oh, we also have to feed him. Fuck. It just works out for him. But he becomes like the most loyal companion that they all have. He becomes so much more lovable. But like, yeah, we first meet him, he's ready to throw hands. Finally, out of our main group, that leaves Ffllewdder Flam, who has like five F's in his name, like too many Welsh spellings. It's fun. Ffllewdder Flam. All right, so in the film, he's like a bard who isn't very good at his job, but he's very like good-hearted and good-natured. That is all true. What they leave out in the film is that he's a king who doesn't want to be a king. He's a king and he's like, I want to travel the world and I'm stuck here in this shit country that pretty much runs itself. And he gives the country to his #1 advisor because he like tries to be a good king, but no one needs him. The country's like running pretty well and he's like, this is so boring. I am a king, no one can bring me down. With a roar I can shake this town. Standing tall, I won't bow to the crowd. I am a king and I say it loud. Ffllewdder, he like goes to join the bards and the bards are like, this fucking guy. Alright, yeah, well, you know, it takes a lot of work to be a bard, because in this world, it does. You have to learn all the stories to narrate to people as you travel. You have to, like, know the current events, the current news going on, the politics of the world. That's also Dara. You have to be able to play your musical instrument to perfection. And Ffllewdder, he wants none of it. He's just like, so traveling, being a bard, that's so cool. Like, having all your fun and being in the world. Oh, I'd never move you, princess, you're too cute. And they're like, this fucking guy. And they're like, okay, so you didn't take being a king seriously, and you're not taking being a bard seriously, so we're gonna gift you with this magical instrument, haha. And then, like, every time he lies or embellishes the truth or doesn't put his, like, utmost into it, it twangs. And that's how he gets his little lie detector harp. And he's like, I really want to throw this piece of shit away, but the bard, like, society, the guild, they gave it to me. So they must love me somewhere. And they're just like, yeah, okay, maybe that'll teach him not to lie and he'll learn his lesson and he'll come back a better man. He never does. He never learns his lesson. And the bard, like, he's just so sat there like, I guess I am a professional bard now. And the bard's like, that's not the lesson, my guy. Please. He also gets, like, a sick-ass mount that's, like, a giant cat. And it's, like, so worth it. Like, he befriends this giant beast of a cat that's about to, like, eat the gang, and it becomes his, like, super pet, and she's, like, the best. Love that bitch. Okay, so again, we come back to the Horny King. Like I said, doesn't do anything. Does not do anything in these books. He's in, and then Taran's like, look at this weak-ass bitch. Like, I'm the weakest-ass bitch in this book, except for Ffllewdder, and I still got this guy whipped. It's so fun. Alright, yeah, so, Dolben. Oh, let's talk about Dolben. So Dolben is, Taran's carer, his, like, mentor. And he's also, like, over 300 years old. I think he's closer to 400, actually. And he is like the wisest that anyone has ever been. He doesn't come into it too much because, again, he's like not a main character, but why is he so wise? The Witches of Morva. So as you'll remember from the film, like Taran and the gang, they all go to the Witches of Morva to get the Black Cauldron. And when they get there, again, the witches are pretty much like ready to kill these guys, turn them into frogs, do whatever they're gonna do. And then like Taran loosely says that he's disappointed Dolben, and like, Dolben? Bitch, that's our son! Are you our grandson? Oh my god, he never told us. Like, the witches are actually like three of the nicest mean characters you'll get, in the sense that they are beings not contained by time and space. So sometimes they are these horrible crones, and other times they are these angelic beings of pure light. Like pure light and beauty, really. But yeah, literally, like a whole section of book 2 is them going, these guys are asking for the Black Cauldron. Let's kill them. And instead, like, they go, oh, Taran's our grandson, okay? Awesome. Well, he gets to live. We'll give him whatever he wants. We've never had a grandson before. And he's like, are you for real, Dolben's parents? And they're like, well, we adopted him, you know, like, we didn't have him. And he's like, he's never mentioned you. And they're like, yeah, he's kind of like not supposed to. Because they had this magical object, the Book of Free, which is the sought-after thing in the first novel. And what happened with the Book of Free is that Dolben was never supposed to touch it or like interact with it. He was just like a regular human being until that point. And he touched it and he gained all of the knowledge of like the universe, which is almost too much for a human mind. So to sort of like course correct, the universe made him this kind of like immortal wizard, I guess. Like, again, he doesn't do too much, but like he's there. He's got like, he knows how things can unfold here. Like, he isn't prophetic, but he sees a lot about how things are going to happen. He understands the way the world works, and he like sort of sees more chain reactions and predicts outcomes rather than anything else. But giving other people like unlimited knowledge, it freaks him out, and B, he's just like, yeah, well, that even just them having the knowledge can change the outcome. So he doesn't let anyone near the Book of Free, which the witches gifted him when he had to leave the swamps of Morva, because they were like, man, you've already screwed with one magical object, let's not repeat that. And he was like, yeah, I'm wise enough to know not to do that now. Well, like, magic book gave me wisdom. So but yeah, Taran is essentially by proxy their grandchild, the witch's grandchild, and it's just such a fun little twist. I so wish they'd put that in the Disney film. I would have loved that in the 1985 Disney film if they've just been like popping off, turning people to frogs, and they're like, oi, let's get like 14 birthday cakes in here. We've missed some shit. Let's go. Finally, I suppose that leaves us with the Fair Folk, the Fair Folk Kingdom. The Fair Folk, they're very different from the film in general. So like Disney, like as a studio, took the Fair Folk to be like, oh, hey, yeah, they're tiny little fairy beings, but the Fair Folk are more based on Welsh mythology, like the whole book series is. So rather than being like just like, oh, little tiny fairies that don't do much, each fairy, like, they can sort of vary in size from like taller than human to smaller than human, like anywhere in between. So you get like a few described as dwarven, as well as like Dolly as well, the main caretaker we meet in the Disney film. He is the main one, and he is about as fun as a wet blanket. In like the film, he's very much like a replacement for Grumpy, you know, like Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, kind of like cantankerous old man. And in the books, he's like, oh, well, you know, maybe I'd be happy as the other fairies if I had a good power like the other fairies. And I'm like, dude, what's your power? He's like, well, I turn invisible. And they're like, that's awesome. That's a great power for you to have. And he's like, yeah, well, every time I do it, it gives me a massive headache, so it sucks, and you suck for bringing it up. And like every time they make him use it, all the man does is complain. He's so like he's just such an entertaining character because he's such a prick. We love a grumpy bastard in here. Yeah, so okay, book 1 is the Book of Free. Book 2 is very much the Black Cauldron, minus the Horned King, because he's not in this at all. Like I said, he's very much like a minor villain in the first book. Henwen barely comes into it as well. Like Henwen, the magical pig, the oracular pig. It's like, yeah, she's an oracular pig. They stole her from the villains. That's how she like had her powers in the first place, because she came from like the demon world base, essentially. Like not demon world, but like the demon stronghold, which is like, they don't really explain how she got her powers, but it's kind of just alluded to that's like part of all of that, and they rescued her the first time. But after the first book, she's not a very important pig. She's not a very important character. I'll let Disney, I'll give you every credit for how cute that pig is drawn. Friggin' adorable. Book 3 is the Castle of Lear, so that's Ilona Wee's family house, and it's very much her story. And it's like she has, like, if she's not going to learn to be a sorceress, then she has to learn to be a princess, so she goes over to do that, and instead it leads the gang into another adventure, which I do not want to spoil for anyone. I'm just very quickly summarising the 4 books. Taran Wanderer is the 4th book. I adore Taran Wanderer. I would argue that it's like maybe the 2nd best book, because Black Cauldron really is phenomenal. But yeah, like the Black Cauldron, it had a film based on it for a reason. Alright? But Taran Wanderer, my friend hates this one, and she is like very much into the series like I am. I love this one. It's a sort of depends on your perspective as a reader, because in this one it's no grand adventure. The gang isn't in it. It's all about Taran alone. It's just like Taran Wanderer. Taran is alone, trying to figure out who he is, because he, like Dolben, was also adopted, and he's trying to figure out if he's worthy to marry the princess, because how can he be if he doesn't know where he came from? And he's like worried his family might have been like thieves, or, you know, like murderers, like anything terrible. Or maybe they were just nothing at all, in which case he still doesn't feel like he's worthy. So this is the book where he grows up and matures. And his entire quest revolves around like meeting different people and learning their trades and going, I could be good at this if I dedicated my life to it. But maybe that's not what it's about. Maybe, you know, like, and he meets like masters of the craft, like 3 of them, who each teach him a very valued lesson. So again, I love it because it's the maturing of a character. It's like very deep and poetic in thought. I mean, I'm all about the adventure too, but my friend really didn't like this one. But, you know, still, it's part of the collection. If you're going to read it, you really should read them all. They follow a very rigid storyline. You really have to keep going with all 3 of them. 5 of them. Christ. Finally, we get to the conclusion of our story, which is the High King. And this is about the final war, about like that they've been building up to. So each one, like, other than Taran Wanderer, really sets up like a magical object or something they're trying to take from like the enemy team. And sometimes they win, sometimes they have like kind of hard losses. And so the final one is the war, like, and all the people that they've met along the way joining in. You know, think kind of like very sort of like Final Battle Lord of the Rings thing, but for a much younger audience, you know. And this series is just so fantastic. Like, I adore the Disney film. It was one of the scariest things I'd seen as a kid. You've got a villain like with a rotting face and glowing eyes, played by John Hurt, who is just spectacular in the role. Like, it's really dark music by Elmer Bernstein. It's just everything about it. It was like catered to what I love. I have a movie poster of it downstairs, like on my wall. And you can tell he didn't make many posters of it because Ilona Wee's dress on the poster is blue, and of course in the final cut of the film she wears like a dusky pink purplish colours. And so like they really had very little money. Of course it flopped. It didn't do well at all because it didn't follow the original Disney formula, and it was 1985. People weren't ready for it. What I would maybe recommend for this one, like, just, yeah, watch the film, love it, read the books, love them, they're fantastic. I wouldn't necessarily want a replacement for this one though, like, as far as like film and book comparisons go. Sometimes I go, oh yeah, you know, you should have done this instead, like, you know, you should have changed the ending or whatnot, or like, you know, Stephen King is like a prime example of this. They like change so much in his, and I've yet to see a good rendition of the film Pet Sematary. The Shining, I hate it. They changed too much. I can't stand watching it. And because they changed too much in the film The Shining, they changed more in the film Doctor Sleep, and I'm like, hey, I hate it. I don't hate all of his films. It had fantastic changes. It was necessary to be changed. I'm getting off on a tangent with Stephen King here. But my point is, like, the changes that Disney made embellished the story to one of its best possible forms. But it does not take away from just how fantastic the books are in this regard. So anyway, I hope you guys will consider reading these books. The cover art is fantastic. Like, just the characters are really witty and sharp and fun. Just well worth it. Alright, so I will leave you with that, and leave a comment for me who your favourite character is, what you liked about this video, and maybe what comparisons you want me to do next. Alright.